I've just done everybody a great service back home. That was definitely a waffle. And great to be standing up here and speaking to clauses 1 and 2 in the final stages of this debate in the House this evening, Mr Chair. And to be honest, New Zealand First is a party that stands very strongly on its principles with regards to this piece of legislation and all pieces of legislation that have been debated in the House. And although we were very, very close in supporting this, Mr Chair, it came down to what we considered something that was fair and reasonable with our supplementary order papers surrounding an amendment to do with the commission-based payments within this bill. And I think this bill, because it is about the naming of this bill in this stage, would be probably a more aptly named Gambling Financial Responsibility and Transparency Amendment Bill, which of course was similar to the Accident Compensation Financial Responsibility and Transparency Bill, which of course is a bit of an oxymoron because there is not a lot of transparency in that ACC bill. However, the good grace of being in the spirit of a positive Thursday afternoon, I think there is a lot of transparency in this bill, and it certainly tidies up a lot of the loose ends that prior to it going to the Select Committee, New Zealand First had a number of issues with this Gambling Amendment Bill number 3. And I have to say the name is a little bit boring because we've just put to bed Gambling Amendment Bill number 2. And in the proceedings as the debate was going on in the House earlier on, I have to say there was more comments made by the Greens and by Labor about harm minimisation, which of course doesn't feature in the Gambling Amendment Bill number 3. So therefore I think that the naming of this is somewhat confusing and somewhat ambiguous and could be better named. Even doing more for the Community Amendment Bill for gambling might actually be more appropriately named, Mr Chair. Mr Chair, this bill does 3 things that I think should be commended. And you're going to be saying, well, if you're going to commend parts of the bill, why don't you support it? But unlike our opposition parties on this side of the bench, if something's not right, if it's not fit for purpose, if it doesn't do what it is intended to do, then I'm sorry, we can't bend ourselves over and take one for the team and go along with this nonsense of the government. We have to oppose it. Mr Chair, thank you. I have to say increasing transparency is absolutely fundamental in everything that this government does and any government that has been operating in the past and moving on to the future. I think that's one of the key things there. Reducing the conflicts of interest, Mr Chair, is another area that has got some operators, those rogue operators, and they are by far a minority group, into some sort of trouble with regards to their conflicts of interest around granting applications to some of those charitable organisations, the venue payment operators, and of course those people in management positions who are managing those sites, whether it be by the machine operators themselves and so forth. And again, I go back to commend the Select Committee, Honourable Ruth Dyson. I think she's done a swell job with her team, along with Adrian Rowley, and we've got Mark Mitchell back in the House. Congratulations, good effort over there with the Rugby World Cup. Sarah Dowie, Brett Hudson. So I have to say that they've done a big Rurafai. Sorry, I do apologise. I'm not the cunning linguist as I thought I was. Yeah, it's a bit of a tongue twister.
The member will now resume his seat. He's had 2 pretty gross offences. Denise Roche.
Thank you, Mr Chair. I rise to take a call